This is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 6 between the Portland Trailblazers and the Chicago Bulls.
A pleasant and potentially historic Sunday night in Chicago. The 243rd consecutive sellout at Chicago Stadium, and none of the 18,676 here expect to be back on Wednesday night. Instead, tonight, they look for the final affirmation of what 67 regular season victories and a tough but thus far successful playoff run have indicated. For the second year in a row, this is the finest basketball team in the world. Again, everyone, I'm Bob Costas. Welcome to Chicago Stadium for Game 6. This is the Larry O'Brien Trophy, named for the late NBA commissioner and emblematic of the league's championship. The Chicago Bulls get to keep it for another year with a victory tonight, or for that matter on Wednesday night, if Portland can force a Game 7. To deny them, the Trailblazers would have to accomplish one of the great turnarounds in basketball history. Because while they trail just 3 games to 2, the fact is, for the most part, the Blazers have been clearly outplayed. The Bulls have now held the lead 83% of the time in this series. And although Portland did manage to win 1 game at home, the Trailblazers, who had been 8-0 there against other playoff competition, held the lead, get this, just 7.5 of 144 minutes of basketball in Portland, and that's on their own floor. To win the title, they've got to turn it up several notches on the world champions court. It's possible, sure, but all signs are positive for Chicago, including Michael Jordan's condition. For more on that, we go courtside to Marvin Mike. Marvelous.
All right, Bob, and the story on Michael Jordan, who concluded Game 5 on Friday night with an injured thigh and a twisted left ankle. He hurt the ankle when he fell into a photographer along the baseline on Friday night. This on the follow-through of his jump shot. Now, he has played through a number of injuries through the playoffs, and he told us moments ago that he is okay for tonight.
Marv, the nagging injuries have been a problem, and stamina during the fourth quarter a point of concern. But the bottom line is Michael Jordan is having an incredible playoff series. Averaging over 36 points per game, he has moved into the 4th position of highest scoring average in a championship series. And as a result, is well on his way to winning a 2nd straight Finals MVP.
Now, the last 3 games, the Bulls have exploded right at the start. They have gotten off to very fast starts, and with the Bulls back home and the crowd such a factor here, you know that a quick start by Chicago is a major concern of the Trailblazers.
Well, this Portland team has shown its resiliency. They bounced back from a 33-point loss in Game 1, then in Game 2, down 10 points with 4.5 minutes remaining. They found a way to win in overtime. But if they're to have a chance this evening, they must avoid the early game deficits and foul trouble they had in their 3 home games. And let's keep in mind that in Games 1 and 2 in this building, the stadium, they did get off to a very good start, played very well early in the game.
So for the Portland Trailblazers, the season is on the line as we close in on Game 6 of this best of 7. Back with the introductions of the starting lineups in a moment.
Eclipse, noun. The motion of one heavenly body passing in front of another. An eclipse occurs only with the perfect alignment of arcs and curves and angles. Eclipse, verb, to surpass, to leave others behind. Eclipse for 1992. From Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. You may also lease a base model Eclipse for as little as $500 down and $149 a month.
Come on! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, let me show you where. Come on.
Real beer refreshment that's less filling. Miller Lite's everything you want a beer to be.
Cold Miller Lite, I like it like that.
Tomorrow, cash machines.
Come on, Miller Lite, isn't that? Come on.
This Father's Day, Sears has some terrific gift ideas. Like this rugged Craftsman 3/8-inch variable speed drill, only $29.99. Make your dad feel special this Father's Day with Craftsman, only from Sears.
Now get to KFC as quick as you can. Honey barbecue wings are back, glazed in a special sauce with a touch of honey. People are rushing to try it. KFC honey barbecue wings in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By the U.S. Postal Service, official sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games. And by Miller Lite, it's everything you want a beer to be.
It is a beautiful 86-degree day in the windy city of Chicago, and indoors it is heating up. Although the Portland Trailblazers have other thoughts on the matter, Chicago fans looking to tonight as a coronation of the champion Bulls, so the home club will be greeted with hysteria. Here is the public address announcer, Ray Clay.
To the Chicago Stadium. Tonight, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is between the Portland Trailblazers and your Chicago Bulls. Now for tonight's lineup. First for the visiting Portland Trailblazers and forward from Maryland, 6'8", Buck Williams.
A stirring scene in Chicago during the introduction of the lineups. Now to a man who has made it back to the Midwest from his hometown of Portland after doing a nice job for the Chamber of Commerce. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
Thanks, Bob. I also love Chicago. Now, you would think with all the pressure on the Portland Trailblazers that their locker room would be a little bit uptight. That was not the case. It was very loose. I talked to Clyde Drexler. He said the reason that we're so loose is we feel like this. We've only won 2 games in this series, but we have not played our best basketball. Hopefully we can do it tonight. In the other locker room on the Bulls side, the only thing they talk about, the only thing that was missing last year when we won the championship was we won it away from home. That will change. Not only will we win the championship here at home, we will also win it tonight.
All right, Ahmad, and no team in NBA history has ever come back from a 3-2 deficit in the finals by winning the last 2 games on the road. The trailing team has come back 5 times to win in 7 games, but never with 2 road victories. And now for the ceremonial opening tip, receiving an ovation from the crowd. One-time Chicago Bull, Bob Butterbean Love, the second all-time Bull scorer behind Michael Jordan. Bob Love played for the Bulls from 1968 through 1976. And hearing it from the crowd, it's Tom Bullwinkle, one-time Bulls teammate, giving him thumbs up. Tom is a member of the Bulls broadcast crew. The officials, Ed T. Rush, Mike Mathis, and Hugh Evans. Ron Kersey and Horace Grant on the opening tip, and John Paxson controls for the Bulls.
We want to look early to see if there are any unusual matchups taking place defensively for Portland. Right now, it looks like they're trying to go straight up. A switch now has put Porter on Pippen immediately.
Cartwright looking to go right at Duckworth. Yes. And Porter met by Paxson. Porter beating Paxson, but he missed the layup. Rebounded by Duckworth. Porter looking to get into it early, and he's called for the offensive foul. Terry Porter has struggled to get his shots. The other night, in Game 5, he went 0 for his first 6 before he was able to hit.
And when you lose your confidence, you have a tough time making decisions. This should have been a pull-up right there, about the 10-foot marker. Pull up and shoot that in-between jumper. Cartwright was planted the entire time.
And recall the previous game, Game 4, Porter was able to manage only 7 shots from the floor. Pippen worked off the pick. Cartwright open. Moves down.
Portland trying to come out of the gates quickly to avoid the early deficits they had in the last 3 games and stay out of foul trouble, the other point of concern.
But the Blazers have opened up with some poor shots. Pippen had it broken up by Williams. And it will be Portland ball. Last touch by Pippen.
The veteran official, Eddie Rush, making the signal one way and then realizing that he had pointed the wrong way. Enough presence, confidence, okay? And the fact that he's been around so long, you change it. You make it right if it's wrong and you have a chance to do it.
Kersey, played by Pippen, goes to the alley-oop. Cartwright hits the floor and deflected it out of bounds. So the Blazers 0 for their first 5. Oh, what a play by Pippen. And he was able to deflect it. No, apparently not. He stepped out before he deflected off Kersey, and Portland maintains possession.
I think Mike Mathis is saying that Pippen was out of bounds when he touched the basketball, therefore the possession goes over to Portland. Out of bounds, on the line, possession Portland.
There's Porter, rebounded by Cartwright. So Terry Porter, in his opening minute and 45, has matched his shots attempted as Paxson was able to take the pass from Pippen, beat his man along the baseline for a 4-0 Chicago lead. Here's Porter. And Terry Porter has come out firing away. I started to say he had only 3 shots at the half on Friday night. That was his 4th attempt, although with the foul, he will go to the line. Horace Grant called for the personal.
Obviously, you can see that Terry Porter has come out and himself tried to change his whole thing around, trying to get his team off to a quick start. He feels he cannot be the laid-back guard that just distributes right now. Someone needs to step forward. Problem could be if too many guys try to do it at the same time. They have to have the right blend and understanding of who's got it going and who doesn't.
Over the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, Terry Porter was magnificent. He averaged 23 points. He shot 53%, hit 34 of 65 from three-point land. He scored 30 or more 4 times over those first 3 rounds, but it's been a different story against the Bulls.
You can see Portland extending its defense, trying to put the pressure out there. It's a straight matchup. Point guard against point guard, big guard against big guard, small forward, small forward. I think the key will be Kersey's ability to
called for the elbow on Cartwright. So Pippen will throw in. The Bulls 4 and the Blazers 2 were just underway. Scottie Pippen coming off a very strong performance on Friday night. Kersey putting the move on Jordan. Kersey with the tip, and he's tied the game at 4.
Phil Jackson mentioned to us earlier today that one of the areas of concern, the ability of Portland to put it on the floor, the steal, and now the slam dunk by Kersey. He gets 3 or 4 of those a game just because he has the ability to run out and fill a lane.
And the Blazers take a 6-4 lead. Portland came out intent on not allowing Chicago to get off to the blistering start.
It's the extra effort and the athleticism of Kersey that enables him to, was it a bad shot off balance? Right, but then he corrects it by following it back up on the offensive boards.
Portland foul was called on Buck Williams. Good defense by the combination of Kersey and Porter, but it's turned over by Kersey. It is a double dribble.
As Jerome tries to bust out of the pack, after the deflection takes place, the good hands there by Porter gets a piece. Kersey comes up with the steal. Now, as he gets going, he takes it, picks it up, puts it right hand to left hand. You can't do that.
Chicago scored the first 4 points. Portland the next 6. Here's Pippen, and he's tied the game at 6. Played by Pippen against Drexler, and it's rejected by Jordan. Michael Jordan with the rejection. He had some help from Cartwright.
Well, they front the post to make the lob pass take place. The good rotation by Bill stops him from getting a layup, and then you got Michael coming from behind your head, which is always dangerous.
It will be Chicago ball.
When Michael's gas tank was running a little bit empty in those first 4 games down the stretch, we noticed that one area, blocked shots, he had 0 for the first 4 games. He picked up 1 in Game 5. Already he has 1 here in Game 6.
He was the number 2 shot blocking guard in the NBA behind Reggie Lewis of the Boston Celtics. And we get the whistle. The ball deflected out by Horace Grant, according to Ed Rush. Portland has opened up, hitting only 2 of 11 from the field. Kersey rebounded by Duckworth. So Portland leads by the score of 8-6.
Turnovers and rebound, 2 key figures that have stood up each game. The 2 areas that Portland will try and concentrate on. Reduce their turnovers, get on the glass.
Michael Jordan yet to attempt a shot. Shot clock at 4. Eludes the double team. And again, Portland on the run. The Bulls able to get back. Drexler stopped by Paxson, and then Jordan able to hustle it back.
The Chicago defense is always swarming, so when you turn your back for a second, somebody else is coming at you.
And Drexler stumbling threw it away. The Bulls take a timeout. A shaky start by both teams. 5 minutes gone by.
The business climate is so competitive today. Either you give your customer the best possible service, or somebody else will.
We could take you on a vacation you will never forget, but you've got to get through to us first.
AT&T 800 service connects more calls on the first try, and it connects them faster, so more of your customers actually get through.
To us, a single 800 call could be worth thousands of dollars. And if the call doesn't get through, the opportunity is lost.
With the AT&T 800 assurance policy, if something happens and the customers can't get through, we'll reroute those calls to any working phone in 30 minutes. Guaranteed.
We chose AT&T because our 800 service is our front door, and we want it open to anyone, anywhere who's thinking about a vacation.
When you consider that every call is a customer, Why would you want anything less than the most reliable 800 service?
If you want to win in the 21st century, you have to play the service game and play it really well.
We can make a difference. AT&T. Call us. Attention to detail in the Mitsubishi Diamante LS goes much deeper than luxury and comfort. It includes traction control, advanced technology associated with Lexus and Infiniti. Diamante's traction control is part of a comprehensive safety system that reflects Mitsubishi's idea of luxury. The Diamante LS from Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
He's waiting about a car length and a half behind Al Jr. Al Jr. now lengthens it out. He's trying to hold him off. Goodyear low, Jr. high. They go to 4, Bob Leaving. Alistair Jr. has the lead. One more turn to go. Here they come. Coming to the finish line. Bob Jenkins, who's going to win it? The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second. Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500.
For most of the series, Chicago has had the lead. They have dominated in this department, as you can see by the numbers. Now, the last 3 games, Portland has started very slowly. We talked about this with Danny Ainge and asked why the slow start.
It's typical for our team to start slow. Clyde is a guy that kind of gets a feel for the game and gets going as the game goes along. I think in contrast to that, the Bulls, Michael is the type of player that, similar to Larry when I played with Bird in Boston, likes to come out right from the get-go and get going and then kind of coast through until he's needed again. And I think it's just a contrast in styles, and it's really hurt us.
It's interesting how the great players can pick and choose which way they would like to come out to start a game. Earlier, when we spoke to Michael before the game, he had mentioned that tonight he does not want to come out real strong as far as scoring. He'd like to get his teammates involved and then pick and choose his spots in the beginning when he wants to try and score.
Well, he's attempted only 1 shot. Came up with that blocked shot a moment ago, so he is, as they say, letting the game come to him. 6:53 remaining. In this first quarter, it's Portland 8 and Chicago 6.
Portland wanted to concentrate on rebounding. Right now in the early going, a 9-2 advantage on the glass for Portland. Duckworth with 5.
Jordan slicing through, and he drew the foul. He was met by Duckworth, and he put the move on him. Duckworth called for his 2nd foul.
But Michael, with the terrific crossover move right to left, he's just too quick for the big man to come out and try and play him, Duckworth.
Now Quentin Robinson replaces Kevin Duckworth, who was called for his 2nd. That was called a non-shooting foul. Duckworth had 5 rebounds here at the start. And the foul called on Cartwright, offensive foul. Cartwright attempting to set up, looking for position against Robinson. And in the process, he picked up his first foul.
And they don't want to let the offensive man hold. The right arm right there holds Robinson so he can't come around and defend.
Robinson went short, but Kersey is right there. A strong start for Kersey. Blazers 10, the Bulls 6.
Let's go back to game 1, the blowout here when Chicago took the Trailblazers apart. Only 25 minutes of playing time for Duckworth because of early foul problems. Only 18 minutes for Buck Williams. They have to stay out of foul trouble.
Cartwright working his way in. And it will be Portland ball. When the Bulls saw the matchup of Cliff Robinson against Bill Cartwright earlier in the season, they felt they did not try to take advantage as much as they should, so they're looking for Cartwright here. Meanwhile, Robinson from the outside. Cliff Robinson, 3 games ago, struggled at 2 of 11, then bounced back with a good one in game 4, 3 of 4 the other night in Portland. Pippen off the ball, and able to cover. Blazers lead 12-8. Looked like Scottie Pippen took a shot under the nose.
And there's blood on his uniform. The officials are checking to see if there is an open wound, open cut. According to the NBA rule, they must stop the game. He must come out of the game. They must clean it up and then cover it before he's allowed to continue.
Well, Pippen is saying no, he's all right. The Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer took a look, and now the officials are checking it out.
Scotty, I think, saying that he was bleeding from his nose. He just used the top of the uniform to wipe it and stop the bleeding, but there are no open cuts, evidently.
NBA officials now the role of Arthur McKenzie or Mills Lane. 5.5 remaining in the first quarter. Blazers with the ball. They lead it 12-8, although they've shot only 5 of 16. Chicago 4 for 10. Porter dumps it off. The rejection by Grant. Horace Grant, who had 4 blocked shots the other night and has been a terror in that department against the Blazers, coming up with an emphatic block on Buck Williams.
That was Grant's 14th block in this final series. He's all over the interior area, either changing or blocking shots. It's discouraging. Just when you think you got a clear look, here comes Grant to get a piece, change the entire face of the offensive structure for the team.
Bill Cartwright sitting down. Scott Williams, second-year player from North Carolina, has checked in. He will match with Buck Williams. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Robinson. And the rebound handled by Williams. Paxson for 3. Portland 12. Chicago 11.
If you try and get your help from John Paxson's side of the floor to stop Michael Jordan off the dribble, he just floats to an open spot, waits for the pass.
Shot clock at 3. Porter with a force, and he hit it and drew the foul. Terry Porter had to hoist it up with the shot clock dropping down. Paxson commits the foul, and Porter will go to the line.
Well, you said it. With the clock running down, Porter knows he has to get it off. Paxson right there getting a hand. The foul takes place on the wrist. Perhaps this will be the thing that gets Porter off that tough shooting stretch he's been involved with.
3-point play for Terry Porter. It's Portland 15, Chicago 11, as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the first. Offensive foul on Jordan. That's his first.
Well, the officials are not going to let Michael Jordan get away with anything extra. It's the left hand holding Clyde's wrist so that Clyde can't move his feet. Clyde calls it, the officials call it. No extra advantage for Michael Jordan. Not that he needs any.
Very quiet start for both Jordan and Drexler. Now Grant switches off to Drexler. Shot clock at 5. Drexler changed his mind. Porter has to force again. It's an air ball, and it's a 24-second violation.
It's tough enough in the NBA to get a good shot with the shot clock running down on the 5. But against Chicago's defense, with the quickness and size that they have, when you pass the ball back and forth with 5, 4, 3 on the 24-second clock, nearly impossible to get a good look.
Pippen lost control, but was able to recapture. Here's Paxson on a quick release. John Paxson has hit his first 3 shot attempts. He has 7. And the Bulls trail by 2.
Last time it was Michael Jordan. This time it's Scottie Pippen. Drive the seam, kick to Paxson.
Loose ball foul against the Bulls. It's on Paxson. Second committed by Paxson. And now Rick Allen calls for time with 3:08 to go in the first quarter.
Come on, let me show you where it's at.
With smooth, refreshing taste and fewer calories than other lights, it's no wonder Miller Lite's everything you want a beer to be.
Miller Lite, it's it, that's that.
If potato chips are gonna cross your lips, keep them fresh, make them fine all the time. That's Pringles. Pop the Pringles. Not like chips in a bag. They don't stay fresh. It's a drag. Candles bagged with busted pieces. Get your hands full of greases. We've got chips, clean and crispy to your lips. Pringles, pop the Pringles. Go for fresh because Pringles got 'em. Fresh, pop right to the bottom. Once you pop, you can't stop.
The same bold engineering that made the Mitsubishi Diamante such a successful luxury performance sedan has now taken automotive luxury in an entirely different direction, introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Montero, a luxury automobile whose luxuries include state-of-the-art four-wheel drive. The 1992 Montero by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
Brewed from the start to be a great tasting beer, not a watered down version of something else. Miller Lite, it's everything you want a beer to be.
Miller Lite, it's it, and that's that.
For America's Olympic hopefuls, the moment of truth is now. Now is the time for Carl Lewis at age 30 to prove he is still the world's fastest human. Now is the time for Leroy Burrell to sprint into history. Who will be America's Olympians in Barcelona? The U.S. Olympic Track and Field Trials next weekend on NBC.
After knocking out two jumpers at the offensive end, Paxson a little over-aggressive going for the rebound. The body contact to Porter. Personal foul, number 2 on Paxson. B.J. Armstrong reports to the scorer's table. He will replace John Paxson on the floor.
And Paxson has had the hot hand, 3 for 3, including a three-pointer, 7 points. In this series, he's knocked down 7 out of 15 from three-point land. Here's B.J. Armstrong coming on. So it's Jordan and Armstrong in the backcourt for the Bulls. Scott Williams up front with Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Jordan with the interception. The Bulls trail 15-13.
4th turnover in this first quarter for Portland.
And Jordan is fouled.
Because Chicago anticipates so well, in particular Michael Jordan, the passing lanes are most dangerous. You have to be sure before you pass the basketball. Crisp, short passes.
Clyde Drexler, who was in foul trouble throughout the game on Friday night with 4 in the first half, was called for his first. Again, a non-shooting foul. Now Jordan posting up Drexler. I played him well. Jordan passed on the 3. Finds Grant. Oh, what a play by Horace Grant. And he's tied the game at 15.
And Danny Ainge had mentioned to us earlier that one of the problems with double-teaming Jordan on the perimeter is that he hangs in the air so long, you just don't know where he's going to drop the ball off at the end.
Robinson, yes. Cliff Robinson with his second field goal. He has 4, and the Blazers lead at 17-15. Now Jordan being played by Kersey. Armstrong.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Clyde Drexler throwing it away. He thought he had a teammate on the far side.
The decision-making ability of Michael Jordan, when he gets in the air, he now has 3 defenders occupied. It's just a matter of picking out the right man. That time it was Grant.
Danny Ainge has checked in. Grant from Armstrong. Bulls caught the Blazers relaxing. They did not get back.
Chicago's team tests you mentally in all facets, every area. If you fall asleep on an inbounds pass, they'll try and get a quick one on you. If you're lazy on a pass, they'll intercept it by cutting in the passing lane. They make you execute and pay attention 48 minutes.
Buck Williams called for the foul. And Grant to the line. And now Kersey makes his return, and Buck Williams sits down after picking up his second. It has been a quiet series for Buck Williams. As Bob mentioned right at the start of the game, he's bothered by a bruised heel. Nice pass from Grant, finding Williams. And the game is tied at Here's Robinson. Good setup from Porter. Blazers lead 19-17. Jordan. And that is his first field goal. Bulls and Blazers at 19 apiece. Kersey able to penetrate. 8 points for Kersey. The Blazers lead by 2.
That's the freewheeling type of attack that the Trailblazers want to get involved with. Couple passes, put it on the floor, break down the defense.
Last couple of times down, Drexler getting some help with Jordan. Williams rejected by Robinson. Here comes Porter. And it's Kersey again, giving Portland a 23. 19 lead. Ames with the steal. Kersey for Drexler. Rebound, Kersey. Jerome Kersey with a magnificent first quarter. This is his style, and he has really hurt the Bulls. 6 of 11, 12 points. Blazers lead 25-19. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Down to 5. Jordan. And it will be Blazer ball with 2 seconds remaining. That's the end of the first. A good spurt by the Trailblazers. And they lead the Bulls by the score of 25-19.
Good defense will produce easy offense. The block shot that time by Robinson helps to trigger the fast break. Blazer basketball. Get out, fill the lanes, and then the ability to convert at the end. Porter getting Kersey involved early in the game, and then turning the tables around, paying attention to some sloppy play. The steal takes place on the inbounds pass. Danny Ainge heads up at all times. Don't get careless. The Trailblazers make it pay at their end of the floor again. The transition game.
So big quarter for Jerome Kersey, leading the way with 12 of the 25.
Car and Driver has named it to its 10 best list 4 years in a row. Now, there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse you can lease for just $500 down and as little as $149 a month. But hurry, this Eclipse will soon disappear. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
To me, when a woman sweats, it just isn't sexy.
Of course a guy's gonna sweat sometimes, but when you're close, who wants a guy that smells?
Get closer with Arid Extra Extra Dry, the anti-odor antiperspirant.
I trust Arid.
You know, I've messed up on a few relationships in my life, but there's one that's lasted over 35 years with a lot of help from Quaker State. It's tough on wear, tough on sludge. So Quaker State and I are planning on a meaningful relationship with my new car. So why don't you do the same with your new car's engine, and Quaker State will guarantee it for 250,000 miles or 10 years in writing. You think if I gave Lonnie the Quaker State deal, she'd give me the same guarantee? Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
The new Sperry topsider, now with considerably more cushioning.
All over the world, they've been preparing for Barcelona. Developing strength. Defining perfect form. It has to be flawless. Because this is no ordinary competition. And these are no ordinary stamps. These are the 1992 Olympic Summer Games commemoratives. Stamps worth saving at your post office now.
After one. 1 in Chicago. Portland with a 25-19 lead. Jerome Kersey, for the most part, has been outplayed in the series by Scottie Pippen, but he's come on the last 2 games. He was a key to the victory in Game 4, played well in Game 5 on Friday night, and here in the first quarter, 6 of 11, 12 points, and 5 rebounds.
The reason that it's so important is because they are relying on Kersey to play Pippen defensively and keep pressure on him. Pippen leads the Chicago team in assists. The offense runs through him. So if they can keep pressure on him, obviously it will affect their offensive efficiency. If you get him pumped up at the offensive end, maybe he'll work hard at the defensive end.
Shot clock down to 3. Drexler for 3. Oh, he got the roll. Clyde Drexler has come out with a different personality here in the first half. He's looking to give up the ball. Perhaps the thought that the shot selection was not wonderful in Game 5, and whether it's the coaching staff or Clyde himself, but you can see he has started the game differently. Shot clock at 3. And Michael Jordan drills it home for his second field goal. He has 4. Blazers lead 28-21.
I think that's the way Clyde wants to play, Michael. Challenge him a little bit, but back off so you don't get beat with that first quick long step. Make him make some jump shots before you come out and really get up tight on him.
Oh, pretty pass off the dribble by Robinson. Cliff Robinson with a good start. Blazers lead by 9. So that stat earlier, the Chicago Bulls during the course of this series have led for 78% of the minutes played coming into tonight. Jordan rebounded by Cartwright, had it knocked away, and the Blazers are back on it. Well, in the first quarter, Portland trailed for only 2 minutes of the 12. Here's Drexler passing the 3. Drexler on the tip. Jordan changed his mind with the 3-point opportunity. Pippen, tough angle shot. And it will be Portland possession.
Clyde Drexler with the 3 gets the real good roll. This thing grabs the rim, finds a way to get back in again. He'll take it anyway. Just so long as Clyde knocks him out, it will open things up on the interior for this Portland team.
Drexler getting inside. Easy opportunity for Drexler, who now is 2 of 8.
Well, he's had 2 layups the last 2 times down. Once he puts them in, things will work out.
Pippen drawing the double team momentarily. Shot clock at 5. Now to 1. Pippen. It's a 24-second violation.
Portland should feel real good about itself right now defensively. They're denying, they're moving their feet, they're getting good help, not getting beat off the dribble.
Timeout taken by Phil Jackson.
Darkman is coming to NBC Monday.
It's the weekend, and the Honda automobile plant in Marysville, Ohio is closed. Everybody's gone home. Well, almost everybody. So this is a good time to show you around. 10,000 Americans build 3 out of every 5 Hondas sold in America right here in Ohio. In fact, they've been making cars here for 10 years. Did you know that? Well, we won't take up any more of your time. After all, it is the weekend.
This may look like a typical light beer and a typical night at the lanes. But this is no typical night at the lanes and no typical bowler.
Look, I'm an ordinary fellow. People think we're kind of mellow. I'm not here to sell you, but to thrill you, to tell you. Tonight we're laying it on the line with the funky rhythm rhyme, busting the groove in double time. Get yours, I got
this doesn't taste like a typical light beer. This is cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light.
Yeah, we're chilling and Ellen Thorelli getting it right with the serious hype straight out of sight. Jamming dynamite tonight, we in the house. Peace.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Honda, maker of fine quality automobiles. Test drive a Honda at your local dealer today. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. And by Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Welcome back to Chicago, where the Blazers lead by 9. Early in the second quarter, there's Phil Jackson in his third year as coach of the Bulls. Led them to a title last season. I asked Phil, what are the major differences between gunning for the NBA championship this year as opposed to a year ago?
Well, last year was it was a honeymoon. It was you know, everything was successful. We tried a lot of things that were unique and special, and they just seemed to all work. It was a kiss of you know, the beloved almost. Today's been this year's has been honestly, it's been a journey filled with travail and pitfalls and you know, carping and little things that are going on, and it's been tough. It's been a real hard road.
Yes, it has been a very difficult run for the defending champions through the playoffs. Extended to 7 by the Knicks, 6 by the Cavaliers. Kersey with the intended pass to Williams. And the ball goes back to Chicago. So Buck Williams back on the floor. He's playing with 2 fouls. He's matched with Horace Grant. 3 minutes in, second quarter. The Blazers lead by 9. Michael Jordan sitting down. So Scottie Pippen, running the club, is able to hit on his third field goal. He has 6. And it's Portland 30, Chicago 23. Bobby Hansen replacing Michael Jordan. And Hansen is guarding Ames. Kersey got the step. He has 14 points. Jerome Kersey in his 8th season out of Longwood College in Virginia. He's become one of the most physical, explosive, small forwards in the NBA. And Hugh Evans with the call. It's a pushing foul on Danny Ainge.
With Chicago going over the top, Pippen winds up high side. It gives Kersey a chance to put it on the floor baseline and then splits the next defender rotating over.
Kersey, another successful example of Portland going after the terrific athletes, even if they're raw. Kersey has certainly come a long way from Longwood College in Virginia. Pippen for 3. It cuts the lead to 6. And the call against Portland. Jerome Kersey for the offensive foul. Here's another look.
After Pippen makes the shot, it's in transition as they're running back down the floor. Kersey trying to hold Pippen up and then delivers the forearm. Not going to get away with that.
And Rick Alderman looking to settle things down. Takes Kersey out. Duckworth checks in. So Kersey with 14 points, 6 rebounds. He has been able to ignite the Trailblazers in this first half. That 3-pointer by Pippen is first of this series. He missed his previous 6 attempts. Cartwright, yes. It's Portland 32 and Chicago 28. Defense from the crowd. And the offensive foul on Duckworth. He got entangled with Hansen and is called for his 3rd.
I'm not so sure this isn't a pretty good acting job by Hansen. You're talking about a guy that's close to 300 pounds. When he's backing up, it's only natural you're going to fall down.
The Blazers want to talk it over. They call for time.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. A dream I move, a dream I groove. Like Mike, if I could be like Mike. I'm gonna be like Mike. If I could be like Mike, be like Mike. If I could be like Mike, be like.
Watch out, America.
There's a new league in town.
Where I go? Whatever your name is!
Tom Hanks is managing.
Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball!
Gina Davis is catching.
Not bad, not bad.
And Madonna is scoring.
Oh, now hey, on the field.
It's the Grand Slam comedy of the summer.
Gotcha!
A League of Their Own, directed by Penny Marshall. Rated PG. Season starts July 1st at theaters everywhere.
19 seconds to go, and Portland is up by 2. Worthy will inbound to Perkins. Perkins gets the ball into the hands of Scott. Scott, Worthy, Scott, back to Worthy. Worthy underneath for Perkins. He blows the 2. The ball's on the floor. To the side. Porter has it. Wexler, they're going to win it. Breakaway. Rip City. Yes, sir. I love this game. The game was born in America and dominated by the USA in the Olympics. But recently, that legacy's been challenged. Now, it's about to change. Jordan, Barkley, Bird, Malone, Magic, and more. The Dream Team. The dream begins Sunday, June 28th.
A few moments ago, Jerome Kersey was on a roll. He had scored 14 points, but then he committed a personal foul. As he came out, he questioned, why are you taking me out? Rick Adelman said it's 3 fouls. Personal fouls are a problem. We got to get you out. Then when Rick checked back with his bench, and they checked their stats, they realized that Kersey actually had only 1 personal foul. In looking up at the scoreboard, there was misinformation up there. Adelman read it the wrong way. Kersey was taken out of the game. As we come back to play now, Kersey's on the floor.
Yes, Jerome Kersey with only 1 foul. I thought was that perhaps he was taking him out to settle him down, but he thought he had 3 fouls on him. So Kersey, as you say, is back. Chicago in the midst of a 7-2 run without Michael Jordan over the last minute and 59.
You know, going back to that situation, it probably was a good move that he came out of the game. Get him relaxed, settle back down again after that foul that he picked up on Pippen with the elbow.
Now Drexler being guarded by Hansen. Kersey met on his twitch. Drexler. Loose ball foul. Called on the Bulls. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Mike and Marv. Part of that confusion was that Mike Sheminsky, the trainer, was not keeping a correct count of how many fouls that Kersey had. Rick Adelman extremely upset at Sheminsky.
All right, and here comes Michael Jordan for Bobby Hansen, who committed that foul. 6:40 remaining in the first half. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad. Drexler, he was pushed.
The problem with the Portland offense at times is that with their passing game motion offense, it becomes very congested. The spacing is not good. As a result, you try and make passes in close quarters. Too many bodies. You have 6, 8 bodies all in the paint area there. It makes it tough to see, deliver, and catch, and then convert at the end.
Drexler to the line. He was pushed by Grant. At one point in the series, Clyde hit 28 straight. At the free throw line, he's off to a slow start. As you can see, only 2 of 9 from the field. 7 points for Drexler. It's the Blazers 34 and the Bulls 28.
It's a deceiving 2 for 9, though, because he's had some real good shot opportunities, which normally he's going to make the inside layups.
Cartwright's pass picked off by Robinson.
That's the pressure defense, the hands. The second time we've seen it pay off. Robinson, earlier Porter with the good hands, caused the turnover.
Look, Robinson has had a strong all-around first half. Nice feed. Robinson from Kersey, and the Blazers lead 36-28.
Spacing that time much better for Portland. They were spread out. They had Chicago's defense extended. Therefore, you can run backdoors and make passes in the open passing lanes.
Here's Pippen. And Buck Williams with the box out. Robinson. Drexler passed on the 3. And it's rebounded by Jordan. Picked off by Porter. 2-on-1. Jordan back. Drexler goes right at him. Blazers with their biggest lead of the night.
Terry Porter back in transition defense. Porter 2-on-1 played the middle linebacker role. Eyes seeing the whole floor, anticipated the pass, and then went and picked it off.
It's a 10-point lead for Portland. B.J. Armstrong. And it's swept by Clyde Drexler. Porter stumbling, but able to get it to Kersey. Drexler around Cartwright. Once again, it's Drexler on the drive. Blazers lead 40-28. And the Bulls calling for time. Couldn't get the timeout. The ball was knocked out of the hands of Armstrong. And last touch by Armstrong as the Bulls were trying to indicate the timeout. And they may have relaxed for an instant. It will be Portland ball when we come back following the timeout.
And Porter caught 2-on-1, caught right behind him. Pippen trying to fill the left lane, comes up with the steal, and then lets Drexler be the decision maker. Makes a nice decision. Clyde goes by Cartwright. He knows there's a mismatch there, and then Jordan trying to get there a little bit too late.
I'm Spike. My house. And he's my housemate. Let's play some ball. I ain't playing ball with no ball hogging, trash talking, showboat, Nike wearing, high flying, donut dunking, hip hopping homeboy from Harlem. And I ain't playing ball with no flat-footed, Boston loving, gravity bound, Nike wearing, no dribbling, golden hair, hockey playing, farm boy from South Dakota. Hold up. If we're gonna live together, we gotta play together. The more colors, the more better. Peace.
At Acura, we believe that a luxury sedan should appeal to a driver's appreciation of soft leather, fine wood, and beautiful stretches of asphalt. The Acura Legend sedan.
Everybody hates to eat and run. We'd rather take it slow. But the way this life is going, gotta grab your food and go. And when all that running round catches up with you at last, get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
For acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster or more effective than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
She looks more like a gymnast than a diver, standing only 5 feet tall and weighing a mere 90 pounds. More incredible is the fact that Fu Ming Shaw, the world's premier diver, is only 13 years old. And this youngster's amazing acrobatics bring her Olympic gold. Fu Ming Shaw, one to watch this summer on NBC.
Bob Costas back at Chicago Stadium. Now coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll be joined live by two of the NBA's best coaches, the Knicks' Pat Riley and the Nets' new man, Chuck Daly. Both have a first-hand knowledge of what Phil Jackson is trying to do this evening, win back-to-back NBA titles for the Bulls. Riley, of course, did it with the Lakers in '87 and '88, and Chuck Daly's Pistons turned the trick the next 2 years. We'll get their thoughts coming up in just a few minutes on the Prudential Halftime Report. By the way, this happens to be Flag Day, Marvin Mike. But if the Bulls are going to grab the banner tonight, they'll have to kick it in gear, down by 12. Let's go back down courtside.
All right, Bob. And Portland with that 12-point lead, and just before the timeout was indicated, B.J. Armstrong forced into the turnover. Good pressure by Cliff Robinson, was last touched by Armstrong.
And John Paxson has been up at the table ready to report in. He was on his way back because he knew Phil Jackson had signaled for the timeout.
Chicago, with Jordan sitting down getting a rest, outscored Portland 7-2, and one of those oddities with Michael back on the floor. Portland is on 8 straight points, making 10 in a row, yes, and it counts. Buck Williams with the strong drive, fouled by Scott Williams, and Buck will go to the line.
You don't associate Buck Williams and putting the ball on the floor from the top of the circle, taking it to the basket, but he had the step, put it down with his left hand, good concentration and conversion.
Buck Williams on the line for the first time. The Blazers 43, the Bulls 28. Portland playing for its playoff life. And they've jumped in front by 15, hoping to tie the series at 3 to force a 7th game here in Chicago. On Wednesday, the Bulls seeking to wrap it up. Pippen rejected and fouled by Kersey.
Well, the defense is swarming right now for Portland, and with their athleticism, they have the ability to change and block shots. That time, the block was good. It was the left hand in the back. That's where the foul was called.
An 11-0 run overall by the Blazers. And that now is number 2 committed by Jerome Kersey. Pippen to the line for the first time. Scottie Pippen picking up his free throw shooting after he had some difficulties in Game 4. So the Blazers lead it by the score of 43-30. 3:45 remaining. First half, and Ames lost it.
What you want to do is try and have the guy bring the ball to the floor against who you feel is the weakest defender, the guy least likely to put pressure on the ball. They felt that the matchup of Paxson on Ainge, that would be the best way. Bring it up with Danny Ainge, take some pressure off the other guys. Didn't work out that way.
Well, trying to get the Bulls back into it. Jordan through the foul. It's a chant we have not heard during the playoffs. Let's go Bulls from this capacity crowd at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan to the line for the first time. Michael coming into tonight's game with an injured thigh and a twisted left ankle, although he told us prior to the game that he's all right. He has played through a host of injuries right through the playoffs. Here's Terry Porter coming back. And he replaces Cliff Robinson, who had an excellent first half.
Cliff Robinson, not only his ability to score the basketball, but he is a highly skilled player. He passes, he finds open people, blocks shots at the defensive end, gives you a little bit of everything, and then flexibility as far as where you want to play him. Big forward, small forward, even the center spot at times.
Robinson 4 of 6, 8 points. Portland 43. Chicago 32.
Chicago now extending its defense with their trapping defense. Grant up on the ball. Portland wants to attack this for scores if it can.
Porter giving the 3. Terry Porter with the 3-pointer. Portland so successful during the course of the regular season and the earlier rounds of the playoffs from three-point land, but they have had a horrendous time of it in this series. Today, though, they've hit 2 of 3 from downtown. Michael Jordan has 8 points, and the Blazers now lead 46-34.
Prior to today's game, they were 8 for 45 in this series, just over 17% from the three-point line.
Fritz will try to save it. Jordan able to recapture. And the Bulls reset it. Shot clock at 5. Pippen checking the clock. Pippen off the spin. Rebound Williams. Williams again. He pops it out. Jordan for 3.
A big, wide body keeps it alive and then kicks it back out deep. Michael Jordan calls for it and says, I'll take it from here. Shoots a line drive three, knocks it out at the bottom. And again, the big, wide body on the glass with the good hands, giving Chicago second chance opportunities. Surrounded that time, he decided to utilize the 20-second timeout and save what could have been an errant pass.
5 rebounds for Scott Williams, 3 from the offensive glass. 1:50 remaining in this first half, and Portland with a 46-37 lead. The Blazers led by as many as 15, but Chicago has turned it off a 9-3 run. Now the Blazers have called for a 20-second timeout.
This might be a good opportunity to take Porter and put him outside on Michael Jordan. Jordan's gone by Drexler the last couple of times off the dribble. Perhaps Clyde a little bit fatigued right now. Take Clyde, put him down against Pippen, who's not as quick off the dribble as Jordan. Play Porter on Jordan, play Drexler on Pippen to change the matchup, give a guy a chance to catch his breath.
You mentioned right at the start that Michael Jordan is having one of the remarkable playoff series of all time. Clyde Drexler has had his ups and downs, although he's averaged 25 a game. But the stats can be deceiving. For example, back in Game 5, he did score 30 points, but he did not shoot well, and his shot selection also certainly could be questioned. Scottie Pippen, rebounded by Clyde Drexler. Drexler, though, has sparked his Blazers the last couple of minutes now from three-point range. Rebounded by Grant. 3-on-2. It's Pippen kicking it out to Paxson. Rebounded by Pippen. Jordan for 3. Yes! So Portland leading by 6. The Bulls in the midst of a spurt. Terry Porter able to answer. Looks like the stroke has returned for Porter.
Remember, when you take long perimeter jump shots and they're not going down, you get long rebounds off the rim. And with this Chicago team, they run out so well, you want to try and control that. Take high percentage shots, particularly when you come in shooting at 17% from the three-point line.
Scott Williams to the post-up move. His second field goal off the good fake, and he's brought Chicago within 6 with a half-minute left in this first half. Nice pass from Drexler, and he's fouled. Scott Williams called for the foul on Buck Williams.
An excellent look that time by Clyde. Williams had turned his head for a split second, lost sight of Buck Williams as Buck ran the backdoor move. Little pump fake, ball fake to get him in the air, and then the contact on the arms.
Scott Williams hears it from the crowd as Cliff Livingston checks in. 4 points, 5 rebounds for Scott Williams. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report, we will hear live from the two coaches who most recently won back-to-back NBA titles. Pat Riley, who did it with the Lakers in '87 and '88. Whose Knicks took the Bulls to 7 games this year, and Chuck Daly, who won consecutive championships with the Pistons in '89 and '90. They'll join Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report.
Chicago will use its opener spread set. Let Michael Jordan try and break down Clyde Drexler off the dribble. If they come in double team, they'll have Paxson spotting up, they'll have Pippen spotting up, and then send Grant and Livingston to the glass. Portland trying to get the ball out of Jordan's hands early.
Drexler poked it away. Jordan got it to Paxson for 3. Rebound Pippen, and he drew the foul as time runs out. Pippen was hacked, and he will go to the line. The foul committed by Kersey. That's his third. Zeros on the clock. No time remaining. And Pippen to the line. He is 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 76%. for the season. And the officials are waving the players off the line. It is tougher to shoot the free throws without players lined up.
You feel lonely. You're out there by yourself. You know there's 20,000 people in here looking at you. There's nobody around to give you any support on either side.
Scottie Pippen hits the free throws, so the Blazers by 6 at halftime. Drexler did not shoot well, 4 of 13 for his 11 points. Michael Jordan coming on late in the second quarter, finished at 5 of 10 for his 14. Bob and Quinn coming up. They'll be shouting with Pat Riley and Chuck Daly. It's Portland with the lead at the half. We'll be back in a moment.
In the world of luxury automobiles, you expect aerodynamic styling. A beautifully crafted, leather-trimmed interior, the uncompromising safety of driver's and passenger side airbags, and the superior performance of a 24-valve engine. You just don't expect it to be so affordable. The Acura Luxury Lease Program. It's more than a lease. It's a legend.
There's only one place to get the big burger more people prefer. We're the one.
We're the one, we carry the name. We're the one, we cook on a flame. Our Whopper is number one. You're the one.
The one and only Whopper at Burger King. Fixed fresh, served hot. Just the way you like
For
it.
the best burger on the bun. We are the one. You'll win right away at Burger King now.
We're the one.
One more turn to go. Here they come.
The checkered flag is out. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second. Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500.
Okay, on the left. That's it. Smile. You're all related now. I know it's scary.
Aren't you glad you used dial?
Hold it. No, don't go anywhere.
Don't you wish everybody did?
Take the picture.
If potato chips are gonna cross your lips, keep them fresh, make them fine all the time. That's Pringles, pop the Pringles. Not like chips in a bag, they don't stay fresh. It's a brag. Candles bagged with buster pieces. Get your hands full of greases. We've got whole crunchy chips, clean and crispy to your lips. Pringles, pop the Pringles. Go for fresh because Pringles got them. Fresh, pop right to the bottom. Once you pop, you can't stop.
They're playing to regain the glory, playing for the USA. Jordan, Ewing, Barkley, Malone, and Magic. The world's greatest basketball players are going to Barcelona to bring home the gold.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid, the Prudential.
Halftime at Chicago Stadium, and if there is to be a celebration here tonight, it will not be easy. The Blazers surprising the Bulls 50-44, although they did lead by 15 at one point, and Chicago closed the half on a 16-7 run to get to within 6. Welcome to the Prudential Halftime Report. Bob Costas, along with Quinn Buckner, Pat Riley, and Chuck Daly in just a moment. First, a thought on this first half.
Well, then I watched the first half. I thought the Bulls came out flat, and Portland took advantage of it. They started getting to some loose balls, but then right at the 7:57 mark in the second quarter, all of a sudden, there was this foul by Kersey, and you could see the energy come up in Chicago, and since then, Michael Jordan has turned it up, and now the flow has definitely moved back in favor of Chicago.
But no matter what, no matter the outcome, the Blazers have not come here to simply hand it over. They've come here to show that they'll make the Bulls work for it.
Well, I think this is one of the best positions the Blazers can be in, and when you think about this, they don't have anything to lose by laying it on the line. So they came and they played their hearts out in the first half. The question is, can they get enough out of themselves in the second half?
Okay, the NBA went 19 years without a team repeating as champions. From the 1969 Celtics, Bill Russell's last year, to the 1988 Los Angeles Lakers. After the Lakers repeated, Detroit stepped in and won back-to-back titles in 89 and 90. The gentlemen who coached those Laker and Piston teams respectively, Pat Riley and Chuck Daly, join us now from Los Angeles and Detroit. And guys, before we talk about the specific question of repeating, a thought on this first half. Let's start with you, Chuck. Has Portland's performance surprised you?
Well, I think Portland's a better club on the road, frankly, every series they've ever played. But I think Jordan and company will prevail at the end.
Pat, Chuck did it with Detroit before you guys did it with the Knicks. This year, earlier in the playoffs, you went at the Bulls in a very physical fashion. Is that the only way to go against Chicago?
Well, Bob, I don't think you can play them conventional. I do think you have to get up into them. You can't give them any kind of airspace. You really want to have them put the ball on the floor and take it into the gut of the defense where you can get some help. So you have to play a physical game with them as much as you can, otherwise they'll just tear you apart.
Of course, what people say, Chuck, is you can only play what your personnel dictates. So Lenny Wilkins with Cleveland and maybe Rick Adelman with Portland can try to be a bit more physical than usual, but they can't do what the Pistons did. They can't do what the Knicks did. They don't have the same personnel.
No, I agree, and they've got to play their own game, and they're an athletic, high-scoring team that makes a lot of mistakes, pushes the ball, and takes shots. Some nights they fall, some nights they don't. First half, they've been playing extremely well.
Well, Pat, you now coach the Knicks, but obviously having coached in the Western Conference, you played Portland quite a bit. What would you do if you're Portland playing against Chicago with the staff that they have?
Well, I can't hear you real well, but I think what would we do if we would play Chicago?
Knowing Portland as you do, having played against them, what would you do if you had the Portland team going against Chicago here at home today?
Well, I think the way they came out in this game, if they continue to get up into them and not give them any comfort shots, don't allow Paxson to roam for any kind of threes that sort of give them some kind of relief, make them earn every single shot so they can't come back on them. I think they're going to have a great shot to win today, but if they soften up on them at all, anywhere along the way, and don't touch them on and out to the three-point line, then they're going to have a difficult time in the second half. They got to contest every single shot.
We'll talk about the concept of winning back-to-back after the commercial break. But before we go here, Chuck, a question for you. We talked to you a couple of weeks ago when you got the job with the Nets. You said you planned to have a face-to-face with Derek Coleman, who was so difficult for Bill Fitch to handle. Has that happened, and how did that meeting go?
Yeah, I met with both he and Jerry Mills along with David Bain right here in this restaurant and had a nice session. I think the kid wants to win. I think he's bright. I think he really has some talent, so I'm looking forward to coaching both of them.
Hey, Pat, you might have thought that you had Chuck Daly out of your hair, first in the finals those years with the Lakers, then this year when he had the Pistons. Now he moves right over into your division.
Just where we want him. If he starts hairspraying his hair, then I know we're in deep trouble. I know that.
It's a wardrobe duel for sure, though, hair or not. We'll continue with Chuck Daly and Pat Riley right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
In a world of sweeping changes, there is one certainty. The financial strength of the Rock. The Prudential Rock Solid.
Got it! Come on! That boy, find me! Oh! Outside jumpers! Uh-oh! Yes! Game point. Better get tough. Oh!
Nice shot.
Attaboy, get the ball. Great game. You're getting better all the time.
Okay, back in Chicago where the Blazers lead the Bulls at halftime in Game 6, 50-44, and we continue our conversation with Pat Riley and Chuck Daly. Now on the subject of repeating, Pat, in 1987, when your Showtime Lakers won it, you went through the playoffs 15-3, and 2 of those losses were to a truly great Celtic team. Then the next year, you had 7-game series after you swept San Antonio. You had to go the full 7 with Utah, Dallas, and Detroit. Coincidence, or is any team looking to repeat always a marked team?
Well, Bob, we played 24 games in 1988, and, you know, I've always sort of characterized it as a marathon. It's an endurance contest. There really aren't any excuses. It isn't the officiating. It's not foreplay. It's not the opposition. It's really more of an inner challenge more than anything else, because every single night you are going up against somebody who simply loads up a shotgun against you, and it's just a long, long, enduring battle. And I think when you have an opportunity to get there, and I do believe that the Chicago Bulls will find a way to get it done this year, they will have paid a major price psychologically to win this thing back-to-back.
Pat, you were so good at getting your team motivated. What did you have to do to tell these guys? You know, I know in 85, after we beat you in 84, it was just so difficult to mentally get up for every game. What kind of motivational tactics did you use with your team?
Well, I went into halftime and I begged a lot. I remember the first year we won it against Pat's club. Went in the locker room. I'd been to Vegas the night before, and Pat hasn't gotten over that yet when I went to see the fight with Tommy Hearns. But I said, hey, we're going to win the series. We're up 3-0. It's just a case of when you want to do it. I said, let's get it over with. I know you don't want to practice tomorrow.
This happens to be the 2nd anniversary, right on the nose, Chuck, of your back-to-back titles. It was June 14th of 90 when you polished the Trailblazers off in Portland to end that series in 5. Do you think a lot of this talk about repeating is just a matter of coincidence? I mean, after all, the Celtics had great teams in the 80s, but they always went against the Lakers, so they sort of alternated. Or is there something to it, something psychologically to the idea of repeating?
Well, I think it takes a great deal out of you to do it, but I think the teams, we're seeing errors. LA did it, we did it, now Chicago's doing it. I think we're seeing errors where it's going to happen. Because of the lack of the ability to make trades and make moves, I think one club is going to be dominant for a certain amount of years.
And quickly, a last question for you, Pat. You went out on a limb when you guaranteed the back-to-back titles after you beat the Celtics in 87. You had to be holding your breath the whole year after. Why did you do it?
I think that was the only thing left, Bob, that team had to accomplish. If the criteria for being great in the 80s was that you had to win them back-to-back, then that was our carrot. That was our incentive. And, you know, just to go back and talk about, you know, the opportunity that I had to win them back-to-back, now that Chuck Daly won them back-to-back, I don't know if Phil Jackson wants to win them back-to-back because Chuck and I left about a year and a half after we won them back-to-back. I don't know if that's such a good thing to do nowadays.
Left, but found other employment, it should be noted. And for the record, Chicago 15-2 in the playoffs last year, 14-7 in the postseason to this point this year. For Quinn Buckner, I'm Bob Costas. We'll return with second half action. The Blazers leading the Bulls here by 6. Our thanks to Pat Riley and Chuck Daly. And we're back with Marvin Mike after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
It's a whole new NBC. It's a whole new place to be. Yeah. Everybody's talking. There's a new word on the street. We got a brand new attitude, a different kind of beat. Yeah. It's a whole new NBC. It's a whole new place to be. It's a whole new NBC. The whole world watching NBC. A whole new NBC. A whole new place to be.
President Bush, Governor Clinton, Mr. Perot, here is a program to preserve family values in America. You lease a new 1992 Volvo for just $295 a month. Or you buy one with 0% financing, and we'll throw in free factory scheduled maintenance. Well, guys, what do you think? It's the Volvo Family Values Program now until July 31st. Call us, 1-800-63-VOLVO.
Some people just know how to fly.
Flying?
Flying?
I'll show you how to fly.
Set a goal and they aim it high.
Excuse me? This is flying.
You guys call that flying?
Just know how to fly.
Maybe. They call that flying. Wrong. Northwest is flying.
Fly Northwest. 47,000 people bringing you the best on-time performance in the country.
There's nothing in the world like it. Chicago sports. Chicago Sun-Times Sports.
Running with the Bulls, a live wrap-up right after the game.
Back at Chicago Stadium, the Blazers lead the Bulls by the score of 50-44. Now, all year long on our NBA telecast, we have brought you, Miller, Genuine Draft, Genuine Moments. Well, tonight, the Czar and I have personalized those moments. Here's a look.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments of the NBA Finals.
It is a vision etched forever in the minds of Knicks fans. Willis Reed injuring his hip in Game 5 against the Lakers. The captain would miss Game 6, but return for Game 7 at the Garden.
20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, I'll be sitting somewhere in some lake fishing, and I would have to say to myself, boy, you know, I wished I had played that night. I wouldn't have let that happen, because that was my moment.
Reed played with courage as he lifted the Knicks to their first NBA title.
Mark, one of my favorite moments was in the 1980 finals when Magic met the Doc. In Game 4, Julius Erving introduced us to the move. It was an incredible acrobatic performance that left our broadcast colleagues a bit stunned.
My mouth was like, and I looked at Coop. He looked at me, and I said to him, I said, Coop, you think we should maybe ask him to do it again?
Magic had the last laugh. The rookie played center in Game 6, scored 42 points, and led the Lakers to their first of 5 championships in the 80s.
Finally, Czar, you remember last year, it was a classic case of air defying gravity.
I think that's got to be the most incredible shot I've ever seen. I mean, the hang time on that, I give that a 10.10.
Looking back at some of the major moments in NBA Finals history. We'll be back with our second half after this.
The sports car of sports cars is now the convertible of convertibles. Introducing the 300ZX convertible from Nissan.
He's got a 5-iron. No, it's the Grumman Edge from Black & Decker. He clears the rough, now with a twist. He edges the bunker. Oh, what a shot. He grooms. He edges. The Black & Decker Grumman Edge, the trimmer, with a competitive edge.
Okay, on the left. That's it. Smile. You're all related now. I know it's scary.
Aren't you glad you used Dial?
Hold it. No, no, don't go anywhere.
Don't you wish everybody did?
Take the picture.
Let's say you're cutting out for a game of pool, or games around a pool. Now you can enjoy a non-alcoholic brew that delivers taste, not promises. Son of a Gun Cutter really does taste like beer, and no wonder. It's brewed like beer. Genuine Coors through and through. So whether you're a doggy cutter or a dogie cutter, Coors Cutter's got the genuine beer taste you've been hankering for. Nothing cuts it like a cutter.
Forget about work next week. Stay up late with me and my guests, Danny Glover, Phil Donahue, Robert Altman, Wesley Snipes, and lots more. I'll give you a note for work on The Tonight Show.
Portland led at one point by as many as 15. Chicago ended the second quarter with a 16-7 run. It's a 6-point lead As we head to the third quarter, a look at tonight's Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. Jerome Kersey has come up big, 7 of 13 for 14. Blazers 47%, and the Bulls at 46% shooting for the half.
Cliff Robinson coming off the bench for Portland supplied a number of things, not only scoring on 4 of 6 from the field, but he added his passing ability, found open teammates, and then a big block shot, which led to a fast break score.
Leading scorers in the first half. Portland getting more balanced tonight. 14 for Kersey. Drexler with 11. Porter with 10. Michael Jordan did not look to get into it until the second quarter. Had only 2 points in the first quarter. 5 for 10 for the half for 14. Pippen 4 of 10 for his 13 points. John Paxson hitting the outside shot. 3 of 5, including 1 from 3-point range for 7 points. Game 6 of the best of 7. The Bulls hoping to wrap it to win a second consecutive NBA championship. Portland looking to tie the series, extending to a Game 7 on Wednesday. The Blazers, though, have had all kinds of difficulties in the third quarter in this series.
And they've discussed it, they've talked about it, coming out in the beginning and having a good start. Well, they did that this evening. Now, the third quarter remains to be seen, but this has been a big problem area for them, controlling the third quarter, scoring points in particular.
Crowd here at Chicago Stadium roaring its appreciation as the Bulls take the court. It will be Portland ball as we get underway. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad, along with Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner, before the usual packed house in Chicago. Kersey looking for the jumper. Now Porter works down low on Paxson. The pass not handled by Buck Williams.
That's the second time that a quick pass has gone through the hands of Buck Williams. Either Buck's got to get those hands up and be ready, anticipating, or got to stop trying to throw him those, thread the needle type passes.
Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Grant, Pippen, Cartwright up front. Drexler jumping out for the steal. Drexler in the open floor, finding Kersey. The crowd looking for an offensive foul as Paxson took a shot and a timeout called by Phil Jackson.
Terry Porter doesn't even realize that there is a ball bouncing behind him after the deflection takes place. Clyde Gambleton goes around baseline side. Terry turns just at the right moment. And here is where Chicago wants an offensive foul call, but the officials let it go. Kersey converts. The defensive pressure and steals at the end of the first half, 5-2 in favor of the Trailblazers. They know if they pick up their steals, it's going to let them get out in the transition game, which is their strength.
So Portland leads 52 to 44. There was some confusion as to whether that was a 20 or a full timeout, and it was a 20-second timeout. Pippen being played by Kersey. Pippen for the three-pointer. And it's rebounded by Buck Williams. Gets it down to Kersey. Kersey on the follow. And it will be Chicago ball.
Is that the fourth layup this game that Portland has had right at the rim, and just they haven't been able to convert. And credit Chicago also for hustling back and not conceding the score.
Minute and a half gone by in the third. Cartwright lost it off his foot. For Paxson. Here comes Pippen. Drexler turns back and then called for the foul, and Pippen is hurt. And Clyde
shooting a jump shot with a guard trying to rotate to him. No one covered the backcourt. Suddenly you look up and you have two Chicago Bulls, Pippen and Jordan, out there streaking. Drexler trying to recover and get in front way too late. Pippen, who had back surgery in the offseason, lands on that bad shot.
Mike Drexler, very concerned, went over to check it out. Scottie Pippen indicating that he's all right. The foul on Drexler, his third. Pippen is 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He has 14 points. Portland leads by 7. The Blazers 52. The Bulls 46. Came up high to set the pick, and it will be Chicago in possession.
You had Duckworth out there trying to set a screen to give Porter a pick and roll situation, but then there aren't too many people on the offensive boards.
Michael Jordan, Gordon was fouled. Blazers 3-on-2. Oh, what a ball fake by Drexler, and now he's fouled by Pippen.
I think that Scottie Pippen remembered who had committed the foul at the other end of the floor. Pippen chasing him down, going to make sure that he just gets enough of him to send the message back. The numbers, they're out early. The pitch ahead pass by Porter. Pippen not conceding anything easy.
Drexler has hit 3 of 3 from the line. He has 12 points. With an 8-point lead. Mike Drexler now guarding Michael Jordan with 3 fouls on him. Jordan rebounded by Williams. Bulls able to get back to stifle that fast break attempt. Terry Porter with 12. Blazers lead 56 to 46.
You're going to have people step up and make big baskets to stop the Chicago runs, because you know that when they get on those streaks, they're most dangerous.
And Paxson was stripped. Duckworth gets it down to Porter. So Portland leads by 12, and Phil Jackson calls for a timeout.
From the beginning of the game, you could see that Terry Porter wanted to take charge. He wanted to be the guy to take some of the pressure off of Clyde Drexler. He does it here off the dribble and changes hands and winds up shooting it lefty in Michael's face. And then after the steal, Porter's gone down the floor. Duckworth with a good long outlet pass leads to the easy score.
The Olympic Games are 41 days away right here on NBC.
We've got a bit of an edge with the driver we have. We've got the best driver out there. So it's a matter of the mechanics just not overlooking anything. Al and I stay in constant communication during the race. I have to be aware of what he wants or needs, at all times. I think the small details are is what makes the difference between winning and running second.
How'd you learn how to cook like that?
You pick those things out when you're alone as much as I am.
No good. Hey!
Eddie Murphy.
You're a devil!
In a movie about the quest for relationships.
Let me get a good look.
It's like Jet Magazine.
And in the game of love.
I'll get back to you, okay?
That's a new one, non Marcus.
What goes around, comes around.
Call me.
Sad, man. First the Fat Boys break up, now this.
Boomerang. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, July 1st.
The new Nissan truck has more power and torque than any truck in its class. Yet it gets the best gas mileage of any import brand. The most most power and the best gas mileage. How do they do that?
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Nissan, built for the human race. By cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Well, for Terry Porter, a native of nearby Milwaukee, although he told us that occasionally he comes to Chicago to check out the Bulls as a youngster. It has been a turnaround tonight. He averaged 18 a game during the regular season. Excellent during the course of the first 3 rounds, but his stats have been down in the finals. But he's been looking for the shot tonight. He's hit 5 of 10 for 14. And you look at the Blazers' playoff scoring as compared to the first 3 rounds, they have fallen off. But in particular, Terry Porter has dipped. He's gone down almost 9 points per game as compared to his production over the first 3 rounds. Chicago 0 for 3 from the field in this third quarter. Make it 0 for 4. Blazers lead it 58-46. Kersey, yes, and give the assist to Terry Porter.
You know, after the first 4 games, Terry Porter was averaging only 3.5 assists per game. Then he comes out in Game 5, has 7 assists in the first half, 1 in the second half. Dribble penetration will lead to good shots for his teammates.
John Paxson hitting the jumper. He has 9, and Portland leads 60-48. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Now Michael Jordan guarding Jerome Kersey. And the blocking foul called on Jordan. That is his second. Getting back to the difference in scoring, the Blazers obviously having a bit more of a difficult time against the Chicago Bulls as compared to the earlier rounds of the playoffs.
Bulls defense is a much different type of defense. They're very aggressive. They take away your passing lane, and they control tempo. That's the big thing.
Duckworth swinging inside. The Chicago crowd looking for the offensive foul call and looking for a foul on Kersey. But a very strong defensive effort by the Trailblazers. Paxson, same spot. John Paxson has 11. Porter with a nice pass off the dribble, but a foul was called. Offensive foul on Drexler. That's his 4th.
Duckworth with the up and under move. Shows Cartwright, comes back with the left hand. Drexler holding off Jordan, the offensive foul call, because both arms are wrapped around Michael.
Well, a critical call against the Blazers. Drexler playing with 4. He picked up 4 in the first half the other night, and that is an offensive foul on Cartwright.
And there's some decision-making to be made by Adelman. First, a look at the 2 big bodies down low inside. The move by Cartwright swinging in on Duckworth. Too much contact, they feel, initiated by the offensive player. Therefore, the offensive foul call.
Portland has asked for a timeout. They lead by 12.
Wouldn't it be great if your neighbor was Wally Dallenbach, the Keystone Beer Winston Cup driver?
Wally, great car. Want to take it for a spin, Dave?
A spin?
And keep her under 170, Dave.
170? See Wally Dallenbach, or possibly his neighbor Dave, race the Keystone Beer stock car in the Winston Cup Series.
Well, how'd you drive, Dave?
Well, she drifted a little in 3. No problem. But we need to bleed the brakes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Abandoned as a child. I want to find out who I am by finding my parents. Now he unleashes his rage, determined to overtake Gotham by destroying its greatest hero. Michael Keaton. What do you want? Danny DeVito. You don't really think you'll win, do you? Michelle Pfeiffer. Batman Returns. Directed by Tim Burton. Rated PG-13. Special preview Thursday. Opens Friday.
The sports car of sports cars is now the convertible of convertibles. Introducing the 300ZX convertible from Nissan.
If you've always wanted to get your hands on Batman, drop into McDonald's, where Batman Returns is on a dramatic series of 32-ounce collector cups with flying, crispy bat disc lids straight from the movie. You can pick up a large drink in one of 6 superhero collector cups at a special price when you buy any extra value meal, because what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
She dislocated her elbow 3 months ago. Such an injury in an Olympic year usually means the end of a dream. But yesterday, Shannon Miller stunned the gymnastics world, defeating world champion Kim Zmeskal in the Olympic trials. Now, who will win the duel for Olympic gold in Barcelona? Shannon Miller, a new one to watch this summer on NBC.
A moment ago, Clyde Drexler was called for the offensive foul for holding Michael Jordan, not allowing Jordan to run around. A close look shows you that the wrist right there is where he grabs and holds on, and earlier the same call against Jordan. He held Drexler's wrist. They don't allow that. Good call. Now, as Cartwright turns in, smashing Duckworth's nose, the big fella in there with little gauze, and you called it earlier, they need some of those trainers to come in and do some work here.
Well, that was a referee I was referring to. Boxing referee. Portland by 12. 6:45 remaining in his third quarter. And the Blazers turn it over. Stacey King has checked in for the first time. So King is up front, along with Grant, Pippen, Jordan, and Paxson in the backcourt. Pippen lost it. He thought he was fouled. Bill Jackson now complaining, being waved back to the bench by Ed Rush. Buck Williams with a rare outside shot. The tip missed by Drexler, then Kersey. Drexler gets it back. And they get the new 24. Here's Kersey. Yes. It has been a magnificent night for Jerome Kersey. He has 20. And the Blazers lead it 64-50. Halfway through the third. Paxson then on a switch by Buck Williams. The mismatch is Drexler and Grant. Paxson to the scoop.
Portland has to make a decision on those dribble handoff or split screens, whether to stay with their own people or switch. They've decided to switch out, but it leaves a big guy trying to guard a guard off the dribble.
Kersey with an open shot. Jerome Kersey is hitting from all angles. Blazers lead 66-52. Porter guarding Jordan. Porter trying to draw the offensive foul. 16 for Jordan.
It's one of the few areas on the floor where Portland knows for sure that it wants to come and double team, and that's when Jordan is down in the low post, but you have to bring him to the double team.
Buck Williams will go to the foul line. Scottie Pippen called for the personal. For Pippen, it is his second. Earlier in this series, we were talking about the improved free throw shooting of Buck Williams when he first broke into the league as a member of the New Jersey Nets. He struggled at the line, but he's come a long way. Buck now 75% from the free throw line. And he's 4 for 4 tonight. You can see the progress that he has made in the finals, shooting better than 90% at the line.
Because of turnovers that they forced, steals, 8 steals, and then offensive rebounds. They have 11 at this point. We're talking about Portland. They have 10 more field goal attempts right now than the Chicago Bulls do. 56-46 in field goal attempts.
Cliff Livingston checked back in, providing a rest for Scottie Pippen. Blazers by 14. Buck Williams stepping out for the steal. What a play by Buck Williams. lost it. Livingston recovers. Here's passing for three. Rebounded by Porter. Blazers have to love this style of play, though. Murphy gets it to pressure. This is Portland's brand of basketball. They have the tempo going in their direction.
And it's all happened because of their hard work. They're on the glass. They're out in passing lanes. We saw Buck Williams just pick up.
Come on, you played. It's never been easy.
Late of the night, 16-point margin.
Sophie Fontaine.
Will you do the Irish team for us, Bill?
I'd rather not.
Will Ray, who's the basketball coach at Loyola.
No, listen, how about the Greek team? This is very impressive.
Now be very careful how you pronounce the name.
Alex
The Sports Writers on TV is brought to you by Chicago's Beer, Old Style and Old Style Life. It's our great beer.
On November 3rd, who will take control of Washington? The Hawks. Who else?
Stand up and be counted. Vote November 3rd.
Send your weekend into overtime with the Giants and the Redskins. Sunday Night NFL on TNT. Super Bowl champs of 1990. Yes! Super Bowl champs of 91. How about a little Sunday night playoff? Send your weekend into overtime with the Giants and the Redskins. Sunday Night NFL on TNT.
Looking for that antique piece of furniture? Need that last coin or baseball card to complete your collection? Where do you go? It's the King County Flea Market, open on the first Sunday of every month, one of the greatest flea markets in the whole country. Travelers from many states and areas come to the King County Flea Market in St. Charles seeking fabulous treasures, antiques, furniture, quilts, and more. If it's ever been made, you'll find it at the King County Flea Market, located on Randall Road between Route 64 and 38 in St. Charles. Call 708-377-2252.
Welcome to Back-to-Back, Sports Channel's presentation of the 1991 and 1992 NBA Championship Series. Of course, the Bulls have already beaten the Lakers here on Sports Channel last week, but now the Chicago Bulls take on the Portland Trailblazers. And Redhead talking a little Trailblazer mania going on. Are these people nuts? Unbelievable. Everything is Trailblazers. We walk in, we got to the hotel, of course, here they had this life-size picture of Clyde Drexler right across the street from us, and it is a town that has no other sport, not like Chicago, no other sport in it. This Blazer mania is the thing. Now, go to the ball game. 12,888 people are there. You and I did the ball game earlier. Remember how hot it was? We did a night game out there, and it was, I mean, sweltering hot. This one's an afternoon game. You got to think it's going to be brutal out there. Yeah, it's kind of a goofy time. It's a 4 o'clock time. Now, the Bulls have played the noon games. They've played late games. It's 4 o'clock. It's hot. It's a small town. Well, it's going to be interesting because now the Blazers feel they've got the Bulls where they want them. They really have the home court advantage. Yeah, they do. In fact, we're going to go out to Memorial Coliseum, take a look at the first half of what is a very hot Game 3 in Portland.
Devastating loss in game number 2. Did they have enough time to get themselves straightened out in their heads and immediately go down inside low to Grant, which is one of the things that they like to do, Chicago, establish the inside game with either Cartwright or Grant early.
We have the feeling, visiting with Phil Jackson and some of the Bulls yesterday, that this was a down ball club. Phil mentioned emotionally down, although he tried to remain upbeat. Hersey switching off to Jordan here at the start. Here's Pippen. Scottie Pippen, who
been struggling. The play that got him off early was a transition dunk by Kersey, still in the right lane once again. Here, almost an exact similar play. This time, he goes to the free throw line for 2 opportunities.
Jerome Kersey, player who has battled through injuries to both ankles, did not have a good one last Wednesday in Game 1. Came back in Game 2 for 12 points and 8 rebounds. Bulls 2, and the Blazers 1. Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Caught right up front with Grant and Pippen. Grant with the open shot. And Kersey with the rebound. Terry Porter had an excellent game in Chicago on Friday. Here's Duckworth, who hit that clutch shot down the stretch in regulation. Buck Williams, and it's rebounded by Grant. Cartwright going to work. So Bill Cartwright with his first field goal, and as we have mentioned throughout this series, the Bulls love to get Cartwright involved early.
Picked up 2 quick fouls in game number 2 and eventually had to go to the bench much earlier than Phil Jackson and his staff would have liked. And if Jerome Kersey continues to get in the transition game, whether he produces it himself or for steals or as a result of running out after defensive rebounding, this is a big plus for him. We saw him open the game up with a jumper. It was an air ball. That's not his strength. His strength is he's a driving, slashing, offensive rebounding type of player.
Kersey only a 66% free throw shooter, and he's opened up hitting only 1 out of 4 from the line. The Bulls 4 and the Trailblazers 1. John Paxson provided a lift with his outside shooting in Chicago on Friday, and the call being made by Ed Rush against Portland. It's on Buck Williams.
This whole mismatch starts with a slice cut by running Grant off of Cartwright. There was a switch by Duckworth that leaves Buck Williams, who is not as big or strong as Duckworth, trying to guard Cartwright.
Drexler going to the boards. Handled by Kersey. Porter through the double team. And he threw the foul.
Porter's averaging 18.5 games in the 2 previous games against Chicago. He has only 5 assists, and it's unusual when you think of a point guard having only 5 assists for 2 games, but he's one of those guys that kind of falls in the category of he's just a great guard. He can score, he can run the show. He's taken on more scoring responsibilities this season.
And he has that excellent change of pace move. He was able to beat the double team, and then he was fouled by Cartwright. And the Blazers struggling at the line, but not defensively. They come out better than Westbrook. Portland leads 5-4.
Up in the passing lane defensively. That's what was missing in game 1. It came back in game 2. An aggressive Trailblazer defense.
Pippen spotting Grant. He had the open jump, but he saw Horace Grant just all alone. The Bulls lead 6-5. And the foul committed by Paxson.
An aggressive Trailblazer defense during the course of the season led to so many scores. Kersey up in the passing lane trying to deny Jordan. Winds up causing the turnover, and then it leads to an easy Clyde score.
certainly received. He's so happy about the big shot he made in game